close my eyes and go back, play it in my mind. A movie of us two, yeah, we were happy at the time. Can't remember what it felt like. We used to be so strong. That picture perfect sky now, it looks so gray and cold. We've been laying here since 4 a.m. and you haven't said a word to me. Silent treatment, is this what it feels like when your heart is aching, when it bleeds? If it's over.
So this morning we left Fort Collins, Colorado. We got packed up this morning and then picked up Jack from his house, took him to school. So cute. His mom and dad put his bike on the back of the car, so we all went and dropped him off. He got his bike off and went and parked it. He's going to ride his bike home after school.
With Dad, of course.
And I guess Matt's going to come by on his bike and pick him up. And then we went back, loaded up the trailer, and pulled on out of the Fort Collins KOA and headed up the back highways towards Wyoming. And we're going to stop tonight somewhere in Buffalo. We'll be traveling for the next 4 days between Fort Collins, Colorado, and Quincy, Washington. And then our stay in Quincy, Washington is what, about 4 days, 3 or 4 days?
Yes, I think so.
3 or 4 days in Quincy, Washington.
Remember when we went to Paris in July, got stuck out in the rain, but we danced around and didn't mind it. So young and reckless, baby, you and I fit just like a glove, but I guess that's over now. We've been laying here since 4 a.m. and you haven't said a word to me. Silent treatment, is this what it feels like when your heart is aching?
Alright, so our first travel tip on our travel from Fort Collins towards Quincy, and we already knew this tip, and we're usually pretty good about it. We always fill up between a half a tank and a quarter tank. Rarely do we go below a quarter of a tank. It's especially important when you're taking the highways and not the interstates, because there's more space between the cities a lot of times, less services. So our navigator and driver today, with my conference calls and so on and so forth, we got carried away. We skipped a gas station in a small town, Rock River, Wyoming.
It was Laramie that I said I was going to film.
We passed through Laramie, Rock River, and then Medicine Bow. And I guess we just got kind of carried away. We were between half a tank and a quarter tank at that point.
But we're at half a tank.
So the tip is, make sure you fill up at the small stations or know when your next gas station is.
We're 23 miles to empty.
We're about 20 miles from Casper, Wyoming, and our handy dandy gas gauge tells us we've got about 23 miles. So we got about a 2 or 3 mile
That's as long as we don't have to go
delta, and hopefully we don't have to climb a hill, as she says. So stay tuned.
There's a winding road ahead of me. I can't figure out where it goes, but if I try, I can make it home.
Yep, that'll work if you can get in there. To make the turn and not die in the middle of the turn.
Would you stop? Gosh.
What?
Good navigator here.
You can do it. You can do it.
Don't kill
You got it.
The turn, or like right here with a car coming.
So now you can smile.
I'm not in the thing yet.
So tragedy averted. As you can see, we pulled in with 0 miles to empty. So we barely made it. So we won't be making that mistake again. And we encourage you to stop when you're at a half a tank as well.
I can make it home.
So we made it to Casper, Wyoming Walmart. And we're breathing a sigh of relief. because just about a mile down the road we hit the gas station when our gauge said 0 miles to empty, and that was what, the last half a mile. We had to climb a hill with our gas gauge saying 0 miles to empty. So we pretty much thought we were going to run out on that hill. Yeah, it would have only been a half-mile walk, but it would have been probably a 45-minute delay and just a pain running out of gas. So we are breathing a sigh of relief, basically limping into that gas station. We're going to have some chicken salad that we made here at our little stop for lunch, and then hit the road, and we've got about 2 hours left to go to our stop for today, which is Buffalo, Wyoming. It is a tornado.
It's not a tornado.
That's a tornado.
What?
You sure that's a tornado? That's a tornado.
Holy
That's the first time I've ever seen one in my life.
Perfect. Is it moving?
Well, I don't think it's sitting still. Dust spout type tornadoes.
Not stopping in this town.
I think it's going. It's coming from a fire over there.
Right.
Just be honest, be a man right now. Say it's over.
So we're just getting ready to head out this morning. We stayed last night at the Indian Campground and RV Resort in Buffalo, Wyoming. We just stayed here one night, so we didn't really get to use all the amenities. But it's a pretty big place. They've got a creek that runs alongside and a dog park. The lots are actually fairly large with grass on both sides. And the amenities, like I said, we didn't really use many. We used the cable TV, it was fair. But other than that, we didn't even try out the dog park or any of the other facilities really, just stayed right here for the night, got some sleep, and we're going to continue our journey today. Probably drive about 5 or 6 more hours on our way towards Seattle. We're just doing that final walk around, make sure everything's good. It's always good to do after you get everything done and you think you're done, to do a extra inspection and double check. One thing to be sure of before you drain your tanks is to make sure your sewer connection is all the way tight. This morning I went, thankfully I was just doing the gray tanks. I pulled the gray tank and one of the hooks on the bottom of the hose was not connected to the drain pipe, so the gray water started coming out on the ground. I fixed it quickly, but it would have been a nasty mess if it would have been the black tank.
Turn right toward I-90 Business Loop, East Hart Street, then turn left. Turn left toward I-90 Business Loop, East Hart Street, then turn left onto I-90 Business Loop. Head north, then turn left.
So last night we were at Three Forks, Montana, just north of Yellowstone a little bit. And we just stopped for the night. Didn't really do any footage while we were there really. It was a nice place. It used to be a KOA. It was called Three Forks Campground, or Camp Three Forks. So highly recommend it. Big spaces, lots of grass, good places for the dogs. Just not a whole lot of fancy amenities. As I said, it used to be a KOA, but they changed it. I imagine it was a KOA journey. It's not too far off the interstate, but we liked it. We did wake up this morning to a tire that was low. Unfortunately, there was a Ron's Diesel and RV repair that we stopped at. In 15 minutes, he had the tire changed flat, and now we're at a bakery right down the road here, or actually right next to the gas station here that's filling up. We're going to check that out before we head towards Idaho. We'll probably stop at Idaho for tonight and then go to Quincy, Washington first thing in the morning. said, we stopped at Camp Three Forks, Montana, and it's called Camp Three Forks, Montana, because that's where three forks of streams. I'm not sure what those stream names are. You didn't get that, did you? Three forks of rivers or streams come together, and they actually form the Missouri River. For our family and friends that are back in Missouri, it starts right here in Montana, near this town of Three Forks. So that was pretty cool. And so we stopped at the bakery, the Wheat Montana Bakery and Deli. Got some goodies. You got a bear claw. I got I thought it was a sticky bun, but it's a honey walnut, like cinnamon roll or roll. And then we tried a sandwich with their bread and such called the Missouri. It was very good, right? Now we're traveling down the rest of the way to Wallace, Idaho. It's just across the border into Idaho. That's where we're hoping to get. We're running into some rain now. And we did, as I mentioned, have a little delay with the flat tire, but Ron's diesel was great. Changed the tire very quickly and got us on the road, and we actually got to play with their puppies, or their German Shepherd dogs, while we were there waiting for the tire. So it was turned out to be kind of a little fun thing, didn't it? I was paid $200 to get a tire replaced and play with a German Shepherd. I'll take that any day.
While our dogs are in the back room.
Yeah, our dogs were freaking out because I was playing with the German Shepherd. But he wanted me to throw his frisbee, but wouldn't let me have it. Alexa's confused. Hey Alexa, why are you crazy?
That would be Siri, honey.
I guess you can't get there from here.
Can't go anywhere from here.
Oh. It thinks we're over there now. Oh, put us on another direction. Oh, let's turn us around and go the other way. Oh my God.
Where is it going?
That's gonna make me sick.
I can't look at it. Stop trying to do
Yeah,
this.
please don't. Right there. Hey Google, your GPS calculations and algorithms are a little off in Montana. You can do 80, but you have no idea where you're going. night in Quincy, Washington. We're going to have our first experience with 1,000 Trails Resort. So far, in the first couple hours we've been here, it's pretty fantastic. However, last night we actually stopped in Wallace, Idaho, just across the border. We stayed at Wallace RV Resort. It's fairly small, but it was right alongside a creek and fairly cheap. I think it was like $30. It's kind of tight if you don't like being close to people. It was a little bit close to people, but as far as our purposes, I really thought it was great. But actually, right before we got there, we stopped at St. Regis and because we saw these billboards that said best burger and best shake. You know, you've probably seen hundreds of those. This place really had the best peanut butter shake I've ever had, and you had the huckleberry pie shake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both fantastic. I'd say probably the best shake I've had. And secondly, the burger was fantastic. I don't know if it was
called the best burger. I think it was pretty darn good.
It was pretty darn close. So we used to like the place by our house in St. Louis that closed down called Grapeseed, and this was the best burger we've had since there. So it was fantastic. So if you're coming through St. Regis, Idaho, it is St. Regis, right? Wasn't that it?
Yes.
Yeah. Huck's Grill. Huck's Grill was the name of the place. St. Regis, Idaho. Stop there and eat, if nothing else. Wallace RV Resort, if you're looking for a place on a creek that's got a nice little pub and stuff that's right there on premise, so it was nice. And now we are at the Crescent Bar 1,000 Trails RV Resort near Quincy, Washington. So we'll actually be here for 3 or 4 days. It was pretty cool. We stayed the first night in Wyoming, the second night in Montana, the third night in Idaho, and now we're in Washington State.